What up everyone? So I'm here to talk to you about something called asymmetric rhythmic improvising. Basically you're playing different rhythmic cells or lengths per hand, and then via accents you're able to bring out different melodies or polyrhythms, and we're going to get into all that. But today I'm going to show you my matrices, which is my method of practicing these, and it's kind of the first step to playing independent accents per hand. So this is all done using cells. Now basically cells is where one hand might play playing a cell of 5 notes. Rather than playing something that's melodic content, we're going to be playing the same notes over and over and over. So a cell of 5 notes would be 5 notes over and over and over, right? A cell of 4, a cell of 3, etc. Same thing for the left hand. If we look at my matrix sheet, now we're going to look at the matrix on the left. This is basically all the matrix values that exist between 2 and 5. Why? Because you have only 5 fingers, right? And there's not really a cell of 1 note, because that would be... and we're not very interested in that. The number on the right side is referring to your right hand, the number on the left referring to your left. So, if we were to look at these cells over here, we could play a 2x4 and a 2x5. That would sound like, in the left hand, a 2 and a 5. Or maybe 3x4. 3x5, 2x5. That's the first step. Once you get those down and feeling pretty good, we can move on to the other side. Now this side has to do with accenting per finger. Now this is where things get a little tricky. This was my way of approaching how can I accent independently, because it was really difficult. So if you number your fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we can see that these are all the possible combinations between 1 and 5. So what that means is if I'm playing a 2-note cell on the left, a 2x2, but then I'm going to accent the second finger in my left hand and the first finger in my right hand. That would sound like this. Right? What if I switch it to a 2x3? Maybe the second finger in my right... Oh god. Maybe the second finger in my hand. And so that's one of those really, really cool things about this whole technique, is that you're actually playing a polyrhythm if you zoom out at the macro level. So when you're playing a 3x2, that accented note, you're actually bringing out a 3/2 polyrhythm if you zoom out far enough. And that same thing applies when you're playing a 5/4, a 5/4 polyrhythm. Or maybe a 3/4 or 4/3, right? And so every single block, let's call these blocks for the sake of this conversation, every single block is a different polyrhythm, unless you do a 2x2, you can't really call that a polyrhythm. But they're all connected by that common denominator of that constant note, whatever you're playing underneath, be it 16th notes or 8th notes, it doesn't really matter. And how to practice these insofar as every single block on the quote-unquote length matrix, what you do is you will pick a block from the length matrix, let's say you have a 3x3, and then you will be able to play with that block all of these, right? Because you can't play something that is of 4-note value if you're only playing a 3-note cell, right? And that goes for all of these. So what you're really doing is, of this 4x4 matrix on the left, which is 16 total blocks, you are multiplying that times all of these over here per its appropriate block size. A 2x2 only gets these 2, right? Obviously there's a multitude of combinations there. Again, there's even more that you can do also, because let's say we're practicing it with both hands going up. in direction, right? Well, what if we do left hand going down? What if we do right hand going down? Now they're both going the same direction. What if we do converging toward each other, right? So that's 4 different ways. You can do both parallel that way, both parallel that way, both like that, and that. And what's really cool about this is suddenly you're playing all those polyrhythms, and you do that over changes while counting in 4, and you look like a total badass. Really excited to show you all this. Thanks for watching. It's the first step towards asymmetric improvising. There's actually a lot more to it. Imagine if we took this, and for all those cells that you're playing in your right hand, let's say you're playing a cell of 5. What if you accent every third, and your left hand is playing a cell of 4 and accenting every second? That means you have 1, 2, 3, 4 rhythmic values happening between 2 hands. And then you have the polyrhythm of all of them happening over the really back row. Really exciting for me anyway, and I'm so happy to share it with all of you. I'll make another video about that 2x3, 3x2 accenting within a different length cell. So that's just the next step, and it even goes further. So get really stoked on this asymmetric rhythmic improvising. You can check out our music, by the way. We're having an album coming up, should be released sometime mid-October. If you like art in general, support it. Go see shows, go see your friends' bands, go buy some art, go buy a CD. Pay for art, pay a cover fee. It's a really good thing to do. Or you can join our Patreon. That's a cool thing to do too. It feels good to support art. Every time I go out to a show, I'm going to another one tonight. Or actually tonight I'm going to an art installation, which is sort of a music technology thing. It's going to be really cool. There are shows every single night. Every single night. Go to them. Go to them. I think it's really important. Also, like, supporting artists is cool.
then.
Get Tim!
Jimmy!